Now, usually we'd look back to semi-finals, but we can't do that this time, can we?
No, there's absolutely no countback, which is quite interesting. So it means it all goes down to time.
Time is going to be a factor. We'll keep an eye on the clock for them. This is our lead wall, this 3D shape of it, 15 meters high, dominates the space, 10 meters overhanging. There it is. And it is, I mean, look, when you look at this thing, it feels quite intimidating.
Definitely. Definitely feels more intimidating than climbing on an indoor wall.
Absolutely. Well, this is the women's route. It winds its way up. Starting down low on those yellow holds. The aim of lead climbing, if you're new to the sport, to start at the bottom and hopefully top it out. That crimpy section, that's been made slightly harder because of that time factor to try to induce some more falls. The purple bit is just a bit of a burner. And then the yellow section at the top, well, we'll find out because it's pretty complicated out there.
Because, you know, it's not very warm in the UK, is it?
Warm weather training sounds awful. I can't imagine anything worse.
It's horrendous.
Yeah. Well, Vita is underway. And you can see she's going to clip the quick draw. She needs to clip every single quick draw on the way up. And unlike bouldering, if you get to the final hold where it's not done there, you've still got to clip that quick draw. So keep an eye on that.
I think that's a new rule for this year as well. You have to clip, or you have to go to the final hold to get the full amount of full amount of points.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, and clip that quick draw. So it's there's a lot to do at the top of the wall.
Yeah, I mean, before people might have skipped the last move if it was tricky and just clipped the chains, but now you really have to do every single bit of climbing.
So Vita starts upwards, and I know the route setters have tried to eliminate rests from this route, but all of you women are so good at resting, especially those ridiculous high heel positions.
I know. The women's field is so flexible.
And Vita, well, there we go, straight away with that high heel. And she's good at resting in these positions.
She is. Vita's someone who looks completely boxed and like she's about to fall off, and she will just rest and fight and rest and fight. It's so impressive.
So she matches. Oh, but we have seen an early slip from Vita Lukan.
Still very, very young. I think she's been in finals already several times.
Yeah, she's experienced. She started competing in 2017 for Asian Youth Champs, and then her last lead competition was in Moscow, where she was 6th. So someone who can clearly get up there into finals and climb well.
Definitely.
Now, on the left of your screen, you can see a graphic. Vita Lukan, that's her high point on 16. Each hold has a numerical value. So the higher you go, the higher your score. And there's also a plus attributed when you use the hold, and that is moving your center of mass and your hands towards the next hold. And luckily, that's a decision for the judges.
Yeah, but it's definitely something that is on the athlete's mind when they're climbing. I've definitely made tactical decisions when I'm on the wall. You know, you might not get the next move, but you just give it your all to throw yourself as high as possible towards the next hold for a more convincing plus.
Yeah, we can see them when they get pumped and they're obviously not going to clip. They just keep on climbing to try to get that score.
Yeah, for sure.
It's always a telltale sign. But don't look away for a second, because as like yesterday and as we just witnessed with Vita, anything can happen at any second here. And Natsuki is going to have to work hard. You can see it bumping into that left hand.
Looks tricky already. They've definitely not given the women an easy introduction to the route.
They're really not. It was a complicated start yesterday, but it didn't look particularly hard, whereas this looks hard.
Yeah, this looks hard and complex. It's quite interesting how routes have changed over the last couple of years. I used to say that bouldering was the discipline where you needed loads of different skills and routes were a bit more straightforward, but as we just saw with the graphics, the routes broken down into different sections of power, complexity, more endurance, and now you really need it all.
Oh, and she just gets that. Look at those fingertips on the hold. This is the crimpy part of the route, and this is the part that the route setters did tweak a little bit to make it harder. Oh, she goes for the bump, thinks better of it and comes back down.
Looks like she's quite extended off the feet.
Yeah, she is. So those are the white sort of volumes you can see on the wall, the little ones. They're protecting bolts to make sure the athletes don't stand on them. And you don't want to use them. They're totally no texture.
No, but they are a great addition, I think, to avoid the dramas of people standing or not standing on bolts.
That's one of the rules here at the IFSC. You can't stand on a bolt, so it avoids it for the women's route. So Natsuki crosses up, and then she's through pretty cleanly through this crimpy part of the route. Oh, but a foot pop again.
Maybe it is the sun. I wish I had that.
Yeah, exactly. I think mine would be more of a grimace at that point. Interesting fact for you. So, Brooke, this is the first finals that Natalia and Brooke Raboutou are in together for lead.
Really?
Yeah, so this is their first chime.
I'd kind of expected them to have both been in one together already. I guess you get used to, when someone's so successful, you just get used to seeing them in finals, being successful, and you think they've always been successful. But I think Natalia's only been competing on the circuit for really not very long.
Yeah, exactly. They were together, I think, in the World Champs, but in a World Cup they haven't. And yeah, we chat about this with Natalia because I remember her breaking through last year at Salt Lake City. Her and Brooke got in together.
Only a year ago.
Yeah, and since then
How
she's in
mental.
everything.
It feels like it's been a couple years of Natalia Grossman.
She's been fighting for that top spot, competing with Janja last year, and then this year when Janja went away, she dominated, really.
I think it's always super interesting when there's such like power friendships in climbing. Brooke and Natalia clearly have something very special, and I genuinely think it must contribute a lot to their success. Having someone that you trust and care about so much pushing you constantly on the good days and the bad days, I think it's something that all competitors kind of wish they had.
Absolutely. Their training buddy is good to go through it. And Natalia is having to fight here a little bit. This sun, just with the fingers.
A strong drag there.
Yeah, it really is, isn't it? And
into fulcrum.
yeah, look at that, locking that off, that right hand.
Definitely looked uncomfortable. This section looks very awkward, and I bet she's aware of how hot those holds are.
And she'll have known, of course, that the other athletes fell early because she will have come out quicker than she expected.
For sure. And you always grip so much harder.
Oh, Natalia is right on the edge.
Clip.
Oh, and she goes.
Oh, no. She doesn't look as powerful as someone like Vita because I think she climbs a lot more technically at the same time. But Jessie's such a great climber to watch. And whenever I'm, on the same route as her in qualification or something, I'm always watching Jessie.
So Jessie starts her comp. And I know that the athletes tend to look up at the wall and see where a swinging quick draw is. And there is actually one midway through because it's extended that is swinging around. So I hope she doesn't think that was the point and then underestimates this bottom section.
Yeah, you try not to look, but you always look up at where the draw stops swinging.
So she's... Oh, and straight away we see her fall. I mean, that was so quick the camera couldn't keep up. Well, that is our leaderboard, and I don't think I've ever seen a leaderboard quite like that. 25 plus is Natsuki Tanie's high point, then Natalia, then Vita, and then we just saw her Jessie Pilz with 8 plus.
Quick turnaround.
She'll be looking up thinking, right, what is going on with this route? She'll be trying to see the hard part. But the thing is, it isn't so much that there's a section. Everyone's really falling at a different bit.
Yeah, for sure. She's probably wondering what it is, spitting people off so early.
It's the B-layer shortener open. Blame them. So work is underway, and look at that scoreboard. So barely halfway is the high point currently.
And we're almost at where we lost Jessie.
Yeah.
Within 20 seconds.
That's great. I mean, we saw the weather, 29 degrees, and it's 7:30 at night, so it is warm. 25 plus was Natsuki Tanii. Sorry, I think I said 22 plus.
In isolation yesterday, we were talking about how late these finals were and why semis were yesterday. And I guess you wouldn't want them any earlier.
No.
It'd be even hotter.
Yeah, exactly. And remember, the men's comes after this, so it might be in the shadow by then, but maybe not, if this is the speed of it. So let's see what Brooke Raboutou can do. She leans back, resting on that right arm.
Looking pretty chilled so far. But she'll definitely be focused.
Yeah, she'll have to be. This will be a different sort of phase for her, and that was a bit awkward, trying to get the left foot up.
Yeah, that move must be hard. I think we saw Natsuki skip out that right hand that Brooke just used.
And very low clip as well. Usually the athletes tend to get as high as possible. It's easier to clip when you're right next to it or slightly above it.
I wonder how much you can see looking into the sun.
This is it. That wall is so bright as well. It's white.
Yeah, very reflective.
But she is climbing herself into, well, currently bronze.
Into the crimpy section.
And then this move we know is hard. It's a big work. She crosses through with the left.
That's interesting, Vita. I wonder if that was instinctive or not, because I'm assuming Natalia and Brooke would have read the route together. But that looked a lot better, I think.
So this is better from Brooke Raboutou. Finally, we're seeing someone getting a bit further, but she's still only third. So nearing that point where Natsuki fell in a couple of moves.
And we've got barely any plus points because everyone's just slipped straight up.
I mean, the flip side of this is if you're an athlete and you're seeing this now, you're thinking, well, look, if I can just pull something out of the bag, I might be in a position for a medal.
Yeah. I wonder whether Brooke's thinking, okay, I need to not mess up like everyone else, or whether she's like, here we go, this is an opportunity.
See how much fight she's got, and she's going to be
good so far.
Yeah, and this right foot though, this is where we lost Natsuki. So she had the right hand on that big purple one, the right foot down.
Nice. And we finally get to see this purple section now.
Well, this is meant to be the easier part, so
okay.
Let's see if it is.
Hopefully some space for Brooke to relax.
Yeah, and
although,
she's on the edge here.
Some inversion. I wonder if this is what was intended.
She's having to battle. It's a big move up to that next dish.
Looks very awkward with the... and we'd lose Brooke as well. I'll get the inside info.
Thanks, Molly. Thank you. Well, again, if you're joining us and you wonder what's happened, we've had lots of early falls in this women's final. The men's final will come after, and we're watching Chaehyun Seo. She comes upwards.
Probably one of the lowest scoring finals we've had in a long time.
Yeah, it must be. I haven't got the stats on the lowest scoring finals, but I'm sure someone out there can let me know.
Someone hook us up.
Yeah, it must be up there. But we know that we've got some big names coming, and this is a big name. Chaehyun Seo, Janja Garnbret and Rogora are the last three. So out of those, I mean, they're world class. Let's see what happens. I'm getting nervous watching this right now.
Me too. And I just want to see this complex yellow section at the top.
I do too. We're a long way off that as we look upwards. That isn't storm clouds out there. That is just blue sky and blazing sun you can see.
Yeah, it's been quite the mix of weather whilst we've been out here. Pack the raincoat, the sunscreen, the umbrella.
Absolutely poured during the women's boulder finals. So Chaehyun Seo struggled with the clip but got it in. This was the pinch. I can't remember who fell on that. I think it was Vita Lukan fell here. So flicks the hand into a pinch. That right hand on a crimp, drops the thumb down.
Oh. And she caught that pretty far out.
Right hand instead of left hand.
Yeah, I was going to say, and so also gone with the right hand. Strong in a drag.
What do you mean by a drag when you say a drag?
So a drag is a hand position, and that's where the fingers look almost quite straight. You're not really engaged at all. You're kind of just hanging on your skeleton, really.
Brilliant description, that, yeah.
Skeleton skin.
That's what they have to go through. So she gets the left foot where that drag was. Right hand on the sloper.
Pretty controlled, I'd say.
She's looking good. Well, as Molly said, she watched her training in the sun, so she could be a bit of an expert. She's going to have to be an expert. Looking very steady at the moment as she presses onwards.
Nice. And she's kind of into the safe zone.
Yes, and now it's route reading. Can she work this sequence out? She needs to cross through into it and not get the feet up.
Let's see if she, keeps her feet to the right. This next move looks like it'll be tricky as well. You've not got anything out on the left for your feet, so maybe we'll get to see a bit of showboat and some campusing.
Well, this is it. It is a campus move. It's like a campus cross through. So you have to commit to it, and you have to have read it properly. So that's 27 plus. Some of her decision was just burnout, I think. She did the Olympics. She was tired. The pressure that lady had on her was immense.
Constant pressure. I mean, every competition she's just expected to win.
But tonight, I think, we have an element of luck coming into this women's competition, which is going to be very interesting.
As we've seen, anything can happen.
Yeah, so here she goes. And you get the feeling, Janja's very experienced. Hopefully she'll be climbing slow, precise. She'll know a lot of people have been spat off early.
Yeah, she's definitely looking a bit more controlled. Janja can climb quite riskily sometimes, which is amazing to watch because you never know what's going to happen, but it usually works out for her. But it looks like she's being a bit more controlled this time.
Very precise with those movements, locking them in. Reaches up for the clip, and I know how many people are excited to have her back. So let's see what she can do with this tricky women's route. Comes out to the left sloper. We'll look to get a high right heel in a sec.
I think Janja will be very excited. I know she absolutely loves challenging routes. Most of the time they're not hard enough for her and she just wants to be challenged. So I think a quick final will make her more psyched actually than nervous.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if she tops. I mean, it would just be such a statement. So right hand on the crimp. flicks the left, and this is the first big move for Janja.
We'll see whether she goes right hand or left hand.
The heel, which wasn't the way.
Hesitating.
So strong for Janja. Resting off that drag.
Yeah. She looks like she's thinking quite a lot. So this must be maybe a little bit different to what the women have read. Maybe it looked a lot more straightforward and they're like, oh, it's a bit more challenging than I thought.
Yeah, she's going to have to pull every bit of experience. That's the risky climbing we were talking about.
Definitely.
So she cuts loose on the sloper that everyone else has just delicately gone to. But she's breathing heavy here, trying to work it out. She's still not in a podium position, but she's getting close.
Moving into the purple section now. Whoa.
Yeah, she crosses through. So we're about 3 holds away from her taking the lead here. Right hand. And
Looks
Janja,
like an awkward rest, this.
well, exactly. And, you know, it's rare we see her getting pumped, but she's immediately shaken out really low.
I guess when you're so tense, it really does, you know, increase the pump way quicker.
So Janja finding a rest where others didn't at the moment. She might need it. 28 is her target. Next couple of holds.
And are we about to see Janja do something crazy?
Well, this is a campus section, so this could be it. This is exciting. I wonder what she's going to do here. We know it's no feet. You can see they run out. You can't stand on those white holds. They are slippy. They just protect the bolt. And she's got to do a big cross through here.
That foot looks quite low.
She half looked like she was going to jump, then thought about a static.
I'm not used to seeing Janja this hesitant.
Yeah, she's confused as well. Looks at the clock, looks down.
Interacts with the crowd.
And we need it here. I think the crowd was shocked when Jessie fell. They went very silent. We need a bit of hyping up here. And Janja is really taking her time. And look, this is smart. She'll know everyone fell low. It doesn't necessarily matter if you top a route here.
She's sticking with the low foot.
I think she's going to cross through. She is. Jumps out. Holds it, and that will bump her up.
That's how it's done. And she knows that was the hard section.
Yes, she does, because she will have heard the hype from the crowd.
And if Janja finds a move hard, well, she knows that everyone else sure has found it hard too.
And she's enjoying, she's relaxed
now. Here we go.
now.
This is the Janja we all love to watch climbing. So, way more flair.
Yeah, she is cruising. Remember, this section is a little easier, so she'll be enjoying this change of pace. I mean, how do you set for someone who comes out and does this? It's crazy.
It must be hard to set for... And now she's looking a bit pumped.
She is, and this is complicated and a bit blind as she comes through. You can see the crimps, the blue screw-ons on those yellow volumes. Janja loses the feet twice, but stays on.
Must be a bad foot.
Oh, come on, she's still there.
Still fighting. And I think... There we go.
Oh, that's a massive fall as well. Way down to the ground.
She is very hard on herself. She's a very passionate, emotional climber. Some people kind of internalize that, but Laura is someone who very much shows that and interacts with the crowd, and you can see how much it means to her.
Yeah, she won the Continental Cup in Arco. And that's a hot place as well, so maybe she'll be dealing with it well. Very static climber, doesn't like the big movements, but we know there's a campus section in that route.
That's true. I think she'll enjoy the crimp section before it, though, so maybe she'll feel a little bit more fresh when she gets there.
Yeah, maybe, and I've seen her work out outrageous static Vita for dyno moves. So.
I know, it's always like, what's Laura going to do through this section?
Well, let's hope she gets there, first of all. Again, the sun has gone away from the wall a little bit now. That will be a bit cooler for her.
It's definitely looking better. Those holds will still be quite hot, though, I reckon.
Yeah. At least she's got all of it, and she is struggling. So she locks the heel in.
Another very flexible climber. We saw her placing some pretty outrageous heels in yesterday's semi-final route as well.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, her reaction when she topped out the route was wonderful.
A very emotive climber, as we just said. I think the women, some of them are quite openly expressive and emotional, but Laura's definitely one of the most when she tops out a route.
So she's into the crimps, and as Molly said, she might enjoy this pet section, but she needs to get this move first. She does easily.
pretty casual for her.
Well, this is going to be fascinating if she can get through, but remember the dynamic move on the purples. So she matches. Then into the pinch. Not quite as careful as Janja was, a little bit looser.
But looking very comfortable all the same.
Yeah, she is.
Shaking out here. I think a couple climbers ago, we couldn't imagine resting on these holds. It was like, go, 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 get through this section as quickly as possible.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone else was barely making that move. Look at her resting. Well, fair play. Crosses through with the left, and now into the slopey hold. And it's a long way for her, but she gets it. Brings the foot up to the dish.
She's exceptionally good at a deep lock.
She is, you're right. So she will now clip this, and then the rest that Janja found is coming up. Interesting to see if she finds it in the same way.
And I wonder how long it'll take Laura to commit to a method for this section.
Oh, she's having to fight, isn't she? Bit shorter than Janja as well.
And she moves through it.
Right, so she's not really resting, and this is where we think she might have to fight. This is the dynamic part. She doesn't love a dyno or a dynamic move.
She's not got the clip in either.
Oh, yeah. And here she does go. Well, that was the move she thought she might have a problem with, and it's only going to be good enough for fourth. There he is, Janja Garnbret, 39 plus. Quite a long way ahead of Chaehyun Seo in second, and Brooke Raboutou by time, look at that. 27 plus, 27 plus. So time decided the medals.